Good morning, friend. Welcome back to Acre Homestead. My name is Becky if you are new, and today we are processing all of these homegrown strawberries that came out of this garden, which is incredible. These were strawberry plants that the previous owner had planted. I have never been able to grow this many strawberries before. I'm so grateful that the previous owner had all these strawberry plants on this property for us to enjoy. We have quite a few projects we're going to be doing with these strawberries. We are going to be making strawberry jam, of course, because that is Josh and I's favorite jam. And I normally have to buy my strawberries from local farmers to have enough of them. I'm just melting them all in this pot so we can divvy out and measure our strawberries. I need them to start cooking down so that we can know how many strawberries we have, because we need to make this into a mash or puree so we can measure out the strawberries for the strawberry jam. And we are gonna make strawberry lemonade concentrate, which I've never made before, but I'm just thinking these strawberries are phenomenal. In the summer when I have barbecues, I would love to be able to serve strawberry lemonade, and I would also like to turn it into a margarita mix as well. I think that's just gonna be fabulous. So I'm just gonna get this cooking down a little bit so that we can mash them and then measure them and freeze dry them, because I want to put these freeze-dried strawberries into some granola we're gonna be making as well. So with the strawberries that we're gonna freeze dry, I did not get them out earlier to start thawing, because when you use your freeze dryer, the freeze dryer has to freeze things before it can freeze dry them. So we are going to put these frozen strawberries directly onto our trays so that we can save our freeze dryer a step. Oh my goodness, if you could only smell these, they smell like the height of summer, and it is incredible. They are now in the freeze dryer. This is probably gonna take a good 18 hours or so. Probably not as long to freeze dry because they were already frozen than if I had put them in there fresh. So that's going one thing down, and I think we can start blending up our strawberries now. They are nice and soft. Not quite yet. These need a little bit longer because the strawberries are still pretty frozen. So what we're gonna do now is I wanna get going on the granola. We're gonna make an almond strawberry granola. I'm just gonna use this bowl that we had the strawberries in. If you don't have a freeze dryer and you can't freeze dry your own strawberries, you could purchase freeze-dried strawberries, but they are super expensive, so it would be cheaper if you had a freeze dryer to do it yourself. So we're gonna start with 6 cups of oats in our bowl. I like my granola to be clustery, and one trick I have found to have that happen is to put some flour in it. So this is some whole wheat flour. I'm gonna put 1 cup in there, plus 1/2 cup of sugar. Water, this is what mixes with the flour to make it clustery. Vanilla. I'll link all these recipes down below. A neutral flavored oil. I'm using avocado oil, but you could use whatever kind of neutral flavored oil you like. Coconut oil even would work in this really well. That would taste good with the strawberries and almonds. The next thing we're gonna add to help make clusters is 2 egg whites. Those egg yolks won't go to waste. I'll give those to my dogs and they will thoroughly enjoy that. That will be a special treat for them. The cool thing about granola is you can take your base recipe, your oats, egg whites, sweetener, and oil, and you can play around with those flavors however you want. I'm choosing to use white sugar in this as opposed to honey or maple syrup because I want the strawberries, vanilla, and almonds to really shine through. But if I wanted to have a different flavor profile, then I could use different sweeteners. So I stick with the ratio of 6 cups of oats, 3/4 cup of oil, my salt, my flour, my water, and 1.5 cups of sweetener, and play around with that however you want. If I wanted to put coconut in this at the end, that would be really good. A strawberry, coconut, almond granola would be delicious, and you could use almond extract, coconut oil, and then at the end you could put coconut flakes. That would be delicious too. I have a maple pecan granola where I use brown sugar and maple syrup instead of white sugar, and then I use pecans in that instead of almonds. So what I can do, I've never done this before, but I will write down the base recipe and this recipe. I'll have two. So you can either make this recipe exactly, or you could take that base recipe and look around in your pantry or just whatever kind of flavor profiles you want, and then you can adjust the nuts, the fruit, the lack of fruit, whatever you want, and just make it your own granola. Now I am using raw almonds here. If you were using already roasted almonds, then I would put the almonds in at the very end. But these are raw, unroasted, unseasoned, just raw almonds. So I'm gonna chop these up now, and I'm gonna put them in the granola now so that they can toast up in the oven when the granola cooks. But if they were already roasted, I wouldn't wanna put them in now because then they could get overcooked. Now we're gonna mix this together until everything is well combined. You can see how nice and thick this is. This is exactly what we want. Now I have to warn you, if you start making your own homemade granola, you're never gonna buy store-bought granola again, because the flavor and freshness and the ability to cater it to your own tastes is incredible. So we're gonna bake this, and I'm not gonna touch it for about 15-20 minutes, and then I'll flip it over, and we wanna keep those clusters together. That's how we can get a clustery granola. Also, if you start making your own jam, be careful because it's pretty incredible too, and you can taste the difference between homemade and store-bought. We are gonna get going on the jam now. If you're gonna put fruit in your granola, you wanna wait until after it's baked before you do that. And clearly we are gonna have to wait to put our strawberries in our granola because it is gonna take probably 18 to 24 hours for those freeze-dried strawberries to be done in order for us to put it into our granola. So our strawberries are nice and soft and tender, so we can go ahead and blitz them up. Now I like jam over jelly. I like some texture in my jam, but I do not like whole strawberries in my jam. So I'm gonna blitz this whole thing up, and I also don't want whole strawberries in my strawberry lemonade as well. I think we're there. The strawberry jam takes 6 cups of strawberries, and the strawberry lemonade takes 6 cups of strawberries. It says that if we make one recipe of the strawberry lemonade concentrate, we will get 7 pints, which is probably more than enough because I've never made this before. I don't want to double it. I want to make just one batch, and then we will see how well we like it. If we love it this next summer, we will make more. So in this pot, I'm gonna add 6 cups of strawberries, and this is gonna be our lemonade. We're gonna start with our lemonade because that's gonna be so easy to throw together. This is a 2-cup measure, so I am gonna use obviously 3 of these. This recipe calls for 4 cups of freshly squeezed lemon juice. I am not gonna squeeze 4 cups of lemon juice today because I have this 100% lemon juice, bottled juice, and so we're gonna go ahead and use this. I like the quality of this juice well enough to not go through the effort of squeezing lemons, And I am in the middle of a pantry challenge right now, so I'm not trying to go to the grocery store. I'm trying to use what I have on hand, and I have lots of these. I do think if you used fresh squeezed lemon juice, it would probably even take this over the top. But I think this is going to be just as delicious because these are incredibly sweet strawberries. So that's our 4 cups of juice. And now we need 6 cups of sugar. And I'm going to go ahead and get the stove on because we need to warm this up to dissolve the sugar. We don't need to cook this at all. All we need to do is dissolve the sugar and heat it up. There's 4 cups of sugar. I buy my sugar in bulk. I can link where I get this organic cane sugar for the best price. And there is our 6 cups. So we're gonna have this just come up to temperature so that it melts the sugar, and then we will be ready to get this in jars. While we're waiting for this to come up to temperature and melt the sugar, the color on that is fantastic. I'm gonna grab my electric canner because we're gonna be cooking the jam on the stove. I don't want to can this on the stove just because I'm going to be using the stove. So we're gonna go ahead and can our lemonade concentrate in our electric canner. Our strawberry lemonade concentrate is all dissolved and perfect. I tasted it, fantastic. This strawberry lemonade concentrate is probably one of the easiest canning recipes I have ever made. It took absolutely no time and it's so good. Spoiler alert, I have made a margarita out of it and it is delicious. I'm really glad to have this on my pantry shelf now. And I'm really glad I decided to can these in pints. You could probably can these in quarts if you wanted, but I thought that a pint would make just a regular pitcher size worth of lemonade pretty easily. And so that's why I decided to go ahead and go with that. I'm going to go ahead and fill my jars. I'm leaving a 1/4 inch headspace. I'm putting a new lid on each one of these jars. To wash the jars, I just washed them in the dishwasher, and the lids I just hand washed a little bit. You don't need to sterilize jars before canning them. And I'm going to put a ring on, and we are going to get these in the canner on my counter. This is an electric pressure canner or water bath canner. I have fallen in love with this thing, and I can link it down below if you are interested. It has totally changed the way I can, and it's made things so much easier for me. Now that we have our jars in there, we can either pressure can or water bath can, which we want a water bath can. And we want to water bath can this for 15 minutes. I just had to check. So all you have to do is set the timer for 15 minutes. Insert jars, they're already in there. So we're gonna get it warming. And then once it comes to a boil, it will start counting down from 15 minutes. Now that we have our strawberry lemonade concentrate going, we can get going on the strawberry jam. I'm just gonna reuse that same pot, and I'm gonna measure out 6 cups of strawberries into this pot, and I'm gonna do, I think, just a 1 batch in this pot. I'm just gonna measure out how much strawberries I have, and we're gonna make jam out of the rest of these strawberries. That strawberry lemonade concentrate smells so good. I'm so excited to have that on the pantry shelf. I think that's gonna be a super fun thing to have this winter, or excuse me, this summer. So we've got 1 batch worth of strawberry jam there. I might have enough to do 4 batches, but we'll see. I know in this Dutch oven, I can get 2 batches. A lot of recipes say do not double, and I'm gonna tell you don't double, but I always double my jam recipes. Some people say that if you double your recipes, then they might not set up properly, but I never had a problem. So there's 1 recipe, so we're gonna do 3 more scoops and see if we can get another recipe. 1. Oh yeah, we definitely can. 2. All right, I have exactly what I need for 3 recipes of strawberry jam. Because that right there is 3 recipes. There is probably another cup or so in here. I'm gonna divide half of this between the pot, the red pot, and the stainless steel pot. You also should not mess with the sugar to fruit ratio at all if you want to guarantee your jam to set. But I've been doing this long enough that I'm okay with adding just a little bit extra fruit just so that we make sure we use all of this. This smells so good. I dripped some strawberry on the stove. I'm gonna get that up before I keep going, because it's gonna be easier to wipe up now. I just rinsed out my pot too, because it's a lot easier to rinse out when it still hasn't hardened on it. I'm gonna get both of these started to cook. And while this is heating up, I'm gonna measure out the sugar for our jam. This one is gonna be for the one that has just one recipe. So we're gonna put 4 cups of sugar in here. This is, if you can believe it, a low sugar recipe. Whoop. In this one, we're gonna put 8 cups because this is the one we're gonna be doubling. 2. Now we need to add our pectin to our strawberries on the stove. So we're gonna take some sugar from each one of these bowls that we pre-measured, and we're gonna add a packet, 1 packet to this one and 2 packets to this one. This is low sugar pectin. I can link this pectin down below. This is my favorite, because instead of having to use 6 cups of sugar per recipe, you only have to use 4 cups of sugar per recipe. All we're gonna do is mix the pectin and the sugar together. Now we're gonna add our sugar and pectin into our strawberries, making sure we add the correct one to the correct one. Once these come up to a rolling boil, meaning when I stir it, I can't stir the bubbles away, we'll add the remaining sugar. And these are coming up to a boil pretty quick. This is right where we want it. So what we're gonna do is add our pre-measured sugar out. Now when I add sugar, it's gonna drop the temperature of this, and we need this to dissolve all the sugar, come back up to a boil. It doesn't look like it's dropping the temperature too much, actually. And once this comes to a rolling boil after all the sugar's melted, then we will set the timer for 1 minute. But we do have one more ingredient we need to add to both of these, and that's some salt. That helps balance the flavor of the sugar. All right, I'm gonna set the timer on this one because that's boiling now for 1 minute. I gotta get all this sugar in here. I know that I can fit 2 batches in here. I just have to watch it that it doesn't boil over. Now you can skim the foam off the top of this jam. You can add a pat of butter. That's usually what I do. I think I'm gonna skip that today just because I don't feel like getting it out. But the foam on the top doesn't bother me, so I don't usually worry about it. All right, this has been bubbling or boiling, the stainless steel one, for a minute, so I'm gonna turn it off, and then I can just focus on this one. We're waiting for this one to still come up to a boil, but I'm gonna go ahead and get this one jarred up. Same thing as with the strawberry lemonade concentrate, 1/4 inch headspace. Uh-oh, put way too much in that one. I can already tell this jam is gonna set because it's thickening and it's still really hot. Now I make a ton of strawberry jam because it's Josh and I's favorite. And we like to use this not only on, well, we don't actually even eat toast very often. Usually the way we eat this is on, if I make French toast or waffles, we use this as sweetener. I only ever buy non-flavored or plain yogurt, and we use our jams to flavor our yogurt. I use this to flavor Josh's baked oatmeal, and it makes the perfect gift. I'm glad I ran over here to get a spatula. I don't think you can see me, but I have to stir this jam because it is about to boil over. So we're gonna count 1 minute on this jam over here. You found this just in the nick of time. I almost forgot about it. This is our strawberry lemonade concentrate out of the canner. This is our first round of strawberry jam out of the counter. So I canned this for 10 minutes, and we're gonna just let it come down to room temperature on this towel for 24 hours, and then we will take the rings off, write what's in the jar, and then bring it downstairs. We were able to get 7 pints of the strawberry concentrate, strawberry lemonade concentrate. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pints of strawberry jam, plus this one that I'm going to put just a lid on it and put it in the refrigerator, and 2 half pints. I'm sorry, we got 3 half, oh, that's hot, don't touch that. Because there's one more still hiding in here. And I'm gonna give these ones away today, the 3 half pints. And all these ones are just gonna go in our pantry. This is the last of the strawberry jam going into the canner now. So we have 8 pints in there. I am thrilled with how this turned out. And I got the dishes done. I need to get out our granola from the oven. This has been just in the oven. It's completely cool. I can totally grab it. It cooked up beautifully. It is probably one of the best smelling granolas I think I've ever made. It smells fantastic and it's super clustery. I didn't turn it. You can, if you don't want your granola as clustery as mine, then just turn it 1 or 2 times in the oven when it's cooking. But granola tends to break up as you have it in your jar and serve it. So I like to keep it pretty clustery. This is all the granola I have left from the last batch I made. So I'm gonna pour that into here. And then we're gonna get our new granola into our gallon jar. And I'm gonna break it up just a little bit because I didn't stir it at all because I was working on other projects. And then we'll just get it right into our jar. I'm still gonna add the freeze-dried strawberries to this, but I'm gonna get the granola at least in a jar for now. And I will show you what the freeze-dried strawberries look like in this granola once they come out of the freeze dryer. This granola has cooled enough that I can put it in the jar. You don't want to put hot granola in your jar because then it could get soft on you. You want to make sure it's totally dried out. This is a little bit clusterier than I like. I should have stirred it once when it was cooking, so I'm breaking it up just a little bit. So one recipe fits 1 gallon perfectly, and once we add the strawberries, it will probably come up to the very tip top. I just tasted it. Absolutely fantastic. So good, so good. I'm so happy with how that batch turned out. That was one fantastic, productive day. We got so much done. The only thing we have to do to finish up this strawberry preservation extravaganza is to take this one batch of strawberry jam out of the canner and take these strawberries out of the freeze dryer. If you are interested in any of the products like this electric pressure canner or the freeze dryer or any of the recipes, I will link them down below so you can find them down there. I am thrilled with this strawberry lemonade concentrate. I think it's gonna be perfect this summer. The first time I make it up, I will make it up with you, and I think it's gonna be perfect. It's gonna be a perfect summer beverage, whether you pour it into carbonated water, ginger ale, just water and make like a simple lemonade, or you use it as a mixer, and I think that would be fantastic. So I'm excited with the progress we made. I'm excited we got 6 1-gallon bags of strawberries out of the freezer, and we can put them on the pantry shelf. My goal is to try to get this freezer nice and empty throughout this pantry challenge so that when food preservation season comes, we can start filling it again. Now, typically I would have done this food preservation project in the summer when these strawberries came out of the garden, but we were too busy. And so that's one beautiful thing is if you're too busy in the summer or whenever the produce is coming in from the garden, chuck it in the freezer, and then when you have a minute, you can get to it. So that's what I did today. I had a minute today and we got to it. We got so much done. I want to just say a huge thank you for taking time out of your day to spend time with me in my kitchen. I greatly appreciate it. I greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being here, and I can't wait to see you next time. If you want to watch some more of my videos, I'll pop some right here. You can go enjoy between now and my next upload. I hope you are having a fantastic day, and I can't wait to see you next time. Bye, friend.